Dear listeners, today we will discuss the clues for finding business opportunities and predicting the development patterns of industrial upgrading. This is an important basis for entrepreneurs' strategic layout. Why can many big entrepreneurs and professional racers always plan for the future with foresight and obtain huge returns? In fact, there is an important professional thought behind this, which is industrial upgrading. To understand this rule, we need to explore the driving forces behind the economy. Regardless of whether the enterprise is industrial, service, or manufacturing, the final products produced are paid for by consumers. In the long run, society must be progressing, and people's purchasing power must be increasing. The increase in purchasing power will drive the upgrading of consumption. Ever-upgrading products constitute the fundamental driving force for all economic development and improvement. The per capita GDP is a direct reflection of the development level of a country or region. Professional racers must understand this rule and look for industry opportunities along the lines of per capita GDP. This index directly reflects the core purchasing power of the group. Therefore, professional entrepreneurs must pay attention to changes in per capita GDP as a guide to gain insight into consumer demand and purchasing power, so as to seize opportunities for industrial upgrading. Taking China as an example, China's current average per capita GDP is $9,000, but there are significant internal differences. China has eastern, central, and western areas and covers first-tier cities, second-tier cities, and third-tier cities. In a country with a population of 1.4 billion, consumption is not even. The per capita GDP of first-tier cities such as Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen has basically remained between $20,000 and $30,000, reaching the average level of moderately developed countries. However, in the second tier, the per capita GDP is about $10,000 to $20,000. In third-tier cities, the per capita GDP is only $9,000 or less. Different regions have different GDP per capita, different consumption levels, and obviously different demand for goods. Because product grade is linked to per capita GDP. For entrepreneurs, the important thing is to think about what level of per capita GDP the product is sold at currently. Differences in regional consumption levels create opportunities for differences in product levels. The passage of time has also created business opportunities for differences in product levels. That means the consumption level of the same group of people will also change in the future, and the products they consume will also change one after another. There are a lot of business opportunities hidden behind this. If a product can meet the needs of current consumers, it does not mean that it will be able to do so in the next 3 to 5 years. Only by constantly thinking about this can we discover where the business opportunities lie. Therefore, the success of a company in the past does not mean its future success, and its small size in the past does not mean that it will be impossible to reach the top of the industry in the future. Let us illustrate this rule through another example. From the perspective of global economic history and industrial development paths, we find that there are powerful patterns. When the per capita GDP of a country reaches about $4,000, the people of that country like to drink strong alcohol very much. This phenomenon is common among Africans, Europeans, and Asians and everywhere. With the growth of GDP, people's consumption level gradually increases. When the per capita GDP reaches about $4,000 to $8,000, beer becomes the fastest growing alcoholic beverage, and when the per capita GDP exceeds $8,000, red wine becomes the best-selling alcoholic beverage. For professional entrepreneurs, it is very necessary to be familiar with the history of industry and the history of world economics. By learning these established rules and patterns, we can predict future trends. No matter how time passes, we can plan ahead and stay at the forefront of the industry. For entrepreneurs, bringing the company onto the upgrade track is an important mission and responsibility. We need to think from the perspective of the enterprise. What changes will happen to the consumer groups we serve now in the next 3 to 5 years? How will demand for the product change then? In which direction should the service form and product form be upgraded? Because time, location, per capita GDP, demands are constantly changing, the corresponding products and business opportunities are endless. In the past 10 years, are internet companies and high-tech companies growing faster and faster? Some of these companies may become famous overnight. This is not only an upgrade of technology but also an upgrade of consumer spending power and habits. Only when there is demand will there be a market. As professional entrepreneurs, we need to edit development ideas based on the future. This requires not only keen insight but also strategic vision and forward thinking. If this concept is not clear, it's difficult for entrepreneurs to have a general direction. Without a general direction as a principal guide, much of the work currently being done will be unsolvable and ineffective. And it is very likely that a lot of the work being done now is meaningless for future consumers. At this time, all efforts are accelerating death. How to find specific ideas? Here is a practical method. We suggest trying to live in the future consumer era for a while. If you are in a city with a per capita GDP of about 30,000 United States dollars, you might as well go to Tokyo or Singapore with a per capita GDP of about 50,000 United States dollars and live for a while to observe their thinking, living conditions, production, and consumption habits. Even though these places and where we live may not be exactly the same, but there must be an upgrade pattern hidden behind them. Go and live in a city that is more developed than the one we live in for a period of time. We are sure we will find many new business opportunities. If these business opportunities are suitable, please bring them back. The development cycle will bring us huge opportunities. We also need to be careful not to bring back business opportunities that are too advanced. We can only learn from areas with a GDP one level higher than ours. Too advanced will have no chance either. So there are natural operating rules behind the industry, and professional entrepreneurs must plan and upgrade the industry in advance. Yes, GDP per capita is the secret key to unlocking business opportunities. Please follow me to the next section,